if I was to ever do a documentary about the cool people that I've met on the internet or through the internet, and like finally get an opportunity to kick it with them in real life, she would be number one. First person that would be going to see to be a part of making that movie. So if y'all think that's a good idea, y'all go ahead and let us know, and maybe we'll get a fund me together or some kind of project Kickstarter for the documentary. Like, hey, Smithsonian meets his internet friends.
Man, my topic of talking those to keep it hooked like dope. Let the ship so hard in these censorship. Damn, God, you're killing it.
What up, though? Is DJ Smithsonian, and you're now tuning in to the library. This is a podcast, if you haven't been here before, sponsored by both Appraise the Phrase and Rap Geo. This is the place where we talk about hip-hop's relationship with language, how hip-hop manipulates language, and even how hip-hop creates its own language. And today is another one of our long form episodes where I've got some friends of mine, and I've got a really dear friend of mine on the air right now. This shit's going to be dope because today we're going to be talking about the intersection of hip hop and poetry. So of course I need to have one of my peoples who's a spoken word artist on. And this woman lady I have known for at least 15 years. But
yeah, that's dope.
I want to introduce the poet Larkspur, my sister. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm hanging. I'm hanging in there, poet. Look, we was just both talking about how hot it is down here in the South because we're in different parts of the South, but we both cooking. The furnace is on, if you know what I'm talking about. And so poet, go ahead and tell everybody what you've been doing, what you're working on, what you specialize in, anything that you would love to share with the people.
I've been about it, but I have been doing poetry and writing since I was a little girl, but I finally started to add visuals to it. So lately I've been recording and putting together stop motion or just some type of simple video to go with the words on the screen. I also am working on a few novels because everything's tied in together as one. And part of that is like, children's book series with cutout illustrations. And I have a few sculpture pieces, which include the cutout scraps of the cutout illustrations. And then it goes into there. So right now the current project is building my YouTube up just to kind of, I'm purging my heart. I'm healing my inner child. I'm doing the best that I can. And with that, I wanted to share it with the world because I learned that I am not alone in this shit. So that's where it all comes from. And with that, I've took on the identity of poet because that's who I feel I am. That's who I am. That's what I named my body. Because your body is what makes the decisions. Your mind is what's processing everything. And that's why we're all sometimes bumfucked because we're thinking instead of feeling. And we've been taught to go with you got to go with your mind, not with what you feel. And that's completely bullshit. You're definitely supposed to go with what you're feeling because your body's what's guiding you. So that's me in a nutshell.
I can dig it. I can dig it. And we'll make sure. Although we're going to put it in the comments and everything in the bottom, where can we find your art? What do we search for on the internet to get at you?
You can go to YouTube and you can search Poet Larkspur, PoetLarkspur, and it'll pop right up. And that's where I'm at right now. And that's for now.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. So today we're talking about the intersection of hip hop and poetry. So some of you may have heard the acronym rhythm and poetry when people are talking about rap. Rap also, kind of has a kindred spirit with spoken word, although there are some differences. Rap has I think, rappers might be poets at heart. What do you think? What do you think about that?
Of course, I think anyone that could sit down and write any form of expression is a poet, and especially when it comes to from the heart. I think the difference though is like when it comes from the heart of rappers and those in the hip hop community. Again, like I was saying, I feel like that there's a sense of like rage poetry,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of us aren't seeing a lot of songs as poetry because they could be loud, fast. They got a lot of bass, got a lot of cussing, a lot of aggression and whatnot, or they could be sad. I remember Ludacris wrote a song a long time ago where he was, telling them, fuck the world, but he slowed it down and it was a little more soulful, versus like it being more upbeat,
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that anyone that's out there rapping, writing, and putting together their expression on paper, and especially someone that can put it with a beat, that's
Yeah.
definitely a poet. Definitely, definitely some talent. I mean, because I'm not even on that beat part yet, so I find it to be a different type of art form in its own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
And
beats
then
are
it was
definitely.
created by us. So that
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna go deeper into like the history of it. No one can say they did it or can do it. So
Yeah, yeah. And I was gonna say, I think the beats is usually that's like the line in the sand, like the difference between a rapper and a poet. Most folks, at least when I've had the conversation with people, it's like, oh yeah, because people are on the beat, like that makes you an MC, that makes you a rapper. But we've had poets cut albums, and two poets I think of, like, well, not necessarily two poets because one is a group that I think of when we talk about like the birth of hip hop and what inspired hip hop. We're the OGs, Gil Scott Heron, the last poets who were thought of as being like rappers before there were even rappers, just because
mhm.
of the power that they were speaking on like jazz records. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like I see that evolution going on, like you said, and in the hip hop artists that we listen to now, although they want to paint a certain picture, like, hey, this parameter, like you mentioned, like rage poetry, and I want to hear more about that, because you had, before we cut the mics on, um you gave a breakdown of big timers that I want, that needs to be on the air, because it was so dope. And yeah, whenever we talk like poetic lyrics, a lot of times it's the super like conscious backpacker, which I appreciate in hip hop, but like I also listen to like thug nigga shit,
Mhm.
and there's space for both at the table. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny as hell. Um, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's good. So that's why I wanted to start off with something light. Um, with starting off with the big timers because it's not angry, it's fun. Because again, you have to be listening to the lyrics. We grew up talking about, oh, it's just the beat, it's just the beat. But when we really sit and like we sit in the car, smoking a joint, and we listen to the song, we like, damn, this shit really hit.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine. So then you have to remember the impact just in general of music. Okay, so first you have the beat, and then you love the song so much you listen to it again, and in that beat you hear more beats, and then you kind of pick up some of the lyrics, and you're like, oh shit. And so every time you listen to a song, it's a different impact, and I don't think people embrace that part about music either. So when it comes back to hip hop with this song, you're listening to the beat is dope, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the rapper singing. People love when a rapper gets on there and they just singing. No notes, no high, no low. They just singing. But I was talking, like I said, hopefully we can cut that little piece out, put that in there about the juxtaposition and the artistry of delusion when it comes to this song. Because and juxtaposition is just another way of saying things that are contrasting, things that are opposite. The beauty versus the grotesque. And what they do in the song is that's what they're singing about. They're talking about how, they don't they got good boots on, they're pimped out, they ain't got no job. So he says, okay. He says, ain't got no job, but he stays sharp. Okay. Then he said, he can't pay all his rent because his money's spent, but that's okay because I'm still fly.
Still fly.
Right? So it's almost like a pick me up because imagine you riding through the hood and this shit's real. We've been through that. We riding
Mm-hmm.
through from go kick it with our homies. We just spent our last 20 on a dub. We got a little bit of gas in the tank. We get paid in a couple of days and we just trying to like chill. Okay.
Yeah, you ever
Um
see those like the new memes where they turn like the hip hop lyrics in the affirmations?
It's
Like
exactly yes.
and that's what that reminds me of, because they got the one with Boosie and Wipe Me Down. It's like, gas tank on E, but all drinks on me.
Wipe me down.
Wipe me down. And then the Juvie, like just look into the mirror and say that I'm a paper chaser, got the block on fire, remain in the G. Like, and I think about that, like when you said that, because I mean that's what it means. Like those lyrics hit, and you although hip hop is consumed by all, and hip hop is consumed by the masses, I think there's a shared experience in the struggle and a shared experience in blackness that allows the music to resonate with us just a little bit deeper,
Yes.
and
It is deeper. I love being black. I'm sorry.
Look, it's fun. I'm telling you, it's fun. It's like you never know what's gonna happen. It's just like you roll those dice, and I mean, you just kind of step outside and step into the world. Like everybody want to be you, but don't nobody want to be you. We were when I was in college. We actually had like a panel discussion, and it was called "Everybody Want to Be Black Until the Cops Show Up."
Yep.
As it was like, yeah, everybody wants the slang. I mean, we're still having those conversations now. Like people are having TikTok
until the cops shows up, until the hate shows up, until the accountability shows up, until the real work of what it means to be a black person shows up. Okay, and that goes into Little Scrappy's "No Problem."
Ooh.
Right? Because he said, "Get out the crowd if you scared." It's not. I mean, that's just what it reminds me of, because even in that song, he's talking. So you got to remember, sometimes I steer these songs not to an individual, but also to like the system or a system. All right, and sometimes you even sing to yourself. But that just what that reminded me of, in the sense, because he was saying he's in the club, things are crunk, you know what I'm saying, and he got a problem with somebody, and he was like, we might as well just go ahead and fight it out and move on. But he let people know in the club, you might as well go ahead and leave. I haven't seen a club since I was like 15, 16 years old, but you remember when you were in that scene, you're having a good time, but you could immediately the energy changed when it shifted, when something was finna pop off, right?
Oh yeah, look, I remember, and I mean half of the time I was in the midst of it, not by not by deliberate wanting to be in the mix of it, but how shit just happened. How it just goes on, and while it's happening, you're like, oh shit, and then you got to react to it. And a lot of times, maybe because I'm a big guy, I don't know, but I find myself in the reaction a lot, or at least used to.
And then you're drunk, you're under the influence. But what I noticed about and the reason why, like I said, brought that song up, because even in that it gives warning, and I love the way the lyrics are set up in that. Because again, I don't know if people listen to gospel, but even with gospel, the way that people can take a word or take a sentence and wrap it around a beat to make it fit. I think that's what I like most about the Little Scrappy song. So when you do go back and listen to it, listen to how it's literally a conversation, and he's rapping a conversation.
So that reminds me So little scrappy. That reminds me a little bit about Bone Crusher, because Bone Crusher had a song around that time too.
Mm-hmm.
And Bone Crusher, never scared. Never scared. Like as a
Mm-hmm.
DJ, like I used to play those back to back. Like you already knew, like if they're getting the mosh pit going in the club, they're going off a little Scrappy, they're going off a little John, gotta play Bone Crusher. Actually paying attention to the lyrics, do you know why Bone Crusher was never scared? You know why he was so mad? Like that whole song was dedicated towards a bouncer. Like he got kicked
It
out of the
was.
club.
Yeah, because it starts off, I'm outside of the club and you think I'm a punk.
Yeah, yeah, because and it's like if you listen to the album, the studio version, it's actually on the Bone Crusher album, which in the beginning he talks about like man, punk ass bouncer gonna kick me out the club. He don't know what's going. You actually hear him
Mm-hmm.
like muttering to himself like it just happened.
See. Okay, so you just taught me that because I've only known it from that part, right? And
Mhm.
I only discovered that song because we used to do that beat like on the tables with our pens, and I was like, I never heard the song before,
Oh
and then
yeah.
I've only heard it from that first part, and I never knew. You just taught me that it was to a bounce, it was about a bouncer. And I think that's even, and but seeing that to me, that's comedic. He's
Mm-hmm.
serious, and they're not playing. But now that we listen to it, it's like, bruh,
Yeah.
you went home, you sat down, because mind you, you had to be okay. Think about it. We went to the club, we got kicked out, we pissed. So he already was out there pacing, probably went to the car looking crazy. This is the dude we record and we post on World Star. Then he
Mm-hmm.
went home and he sat down with a pen and a paper and he said, so, comma, I'm outside of the club and he thinks I'm a punk. Because he had to write it first. Sometimes
Yeah.
we do sing, but he had to talk it out first with himself. I'm telling you,
Oh
it's
yeah.
his diary. Dear diary. So I'm outside of the club and he thinks I'm a punk.
I
That is
love
insane.
I could just see it. I could just see. I mean, just imagine, this massive dude like Bone, because Bone Crusher is a huge dude. Like just
Mm-hmm.
sitting down, just looking like Riley from the Boondocks. When
Yes.
he was
Cute.
writing, dear, you a bitch ass nigga, the Santa stalker. But
But
yeah,
see, okay.
because a lot of those lyrics, for crunk and all of that, like they put us in a space because I mean, people are writing, from that space, and I don't see a difference in, like some of the lyrics and stuff that we hear in crunk music to, some of the things that we hear in like the heavier rock and roll and like the metal. It's still that angst, that frustration, right?
Yes. But then I also wonder if, and I'm going to talk about, okay, see, I'm going deep because I want to talk about his expression in the song, but then I also want to talk about shadow work. Because yes, we have these lyrics. Yes, we can sit and get crunk all day, but at some point, we got to heal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I have a song for that too. All right, so he says in the song, so he does go home, he's mad, he's like, fuck this nigga with the woo. And even if you look at because I like to read the lyrics so I can read it, but he's convincing himself, one, that he's like, he's trying to calm himself down. He's like, fuck nigga, shit, man, old punk ass kids grown, gonna throw me out the club.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that don't mean nothing, nigga. I'm gonna fuck this nigga up. Then he's like, shit, let me show this mother. But then he keeps saying, I ain't never scared, over and over again. So really, is he mad or is he sad?
Mm.
Because it sounds like he's throwing a tantrum, like with Riley.
I love it. Yeah, yeah. I can see
You get
that.
what I'm saying? And then, like, if you read, he's like, oh, I'm mad. Da-da-da. Then he goes, but I ain't never scared. And I can imagine him crying, and he in his room. Because you got to remember, a lot of us are speaking from the inner child, inner
Mm-hmm.
teenager as well. So just hearing it from that point, because guess what that was? That was him being excluded. That was him being,
Mm-hmm.
uh, being left out. And so he's not angry about, it's deeper. He's angry about being kicked out the club, but it's a fear of missing out. It's the fact that people are all in there having a good time without him. He's like, why me?
Mm.
I mean, I can make you cry over a rap song if we really want to tear it down in regards to
Mm.
like the philosophy of deconstruction, when we talk about expression, the words that are used, what the words truly mean, and how we put them together to mask as anger when really we're sad. And that's crazy we're talking about it today, because yesterday I'm
Listen,
sorry.
look, I'm all
So,
in. Look.
so I laugh. Look, I mean, that's how. So a lot of people say we laugh to keep from crying. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people to keep from murking these niggas, because anger is real. And a lot of us aren't, when I say a lot of us, I mean black folks who have never been allowed to tap into our rage, because they know what we could be capable of. Though
Mm-hmm.
we are not made in that image, we could be capable of that image. And that's also what makes us so powerful. And now I can get into alchemy as well with other songs in the rap community. But with this song, it goes from him being scared, and I say that because uh, I'm trying to make it easy for him to edit, because I go into my tangents. But I saw a lady yesterday that I have been seeing for the last year. She knows me
Mm-hmm.
through an incident that happened at an old job. We have not spoken because I chose to set a boundary. I was like, the last time I spoke to you, you lied and it caused turmoil. I will never speak to you again. I saw her yesterday at a different grocery store, because I go to a different one on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
First time she decided to come up to me and speak, and I was shaking. I was shaking. My eyes rolled up with tears, because I didn't realize how angry I was. I knew I was upset, but I didn't realize how angry I was. So in that moment, I went back up to her and I was like, "Hey, Barbara," I said, "respectfully, if you ever see me again, don't fucking speak."
There you go.
And her whole demeanor changed. But when I got in the car, I put on "I'm a King" by T.I.
Mm.
because it goes from "Little Scrappy, No Problem," because that's what I felt, that's what I meant, and I was standing on it, like every single line. Okay, you don't want to be, what do you say, out in the street, mouth full of blood. Okay, cool. And we don't want to speak those that way, but let's be real, when we're angry and people have done us an
Mm-hmm.
injustice. Okay, so then I'm sitting on "I'm a King." Now, one thing I'm going to tell everyone, and if you can find them, let me know. But if you listen to "I'm a King" remix, there's a part of the song that you cannot find in the lyrics. Like, you cannot find the lyrics of this
Mm-hmm.
his part. So you have Ti, excuse me, you have Ti that comes in first, right? Boom.
Yep.
That second verse, it's nowhere to be found. But there's a lot of different levels to the song. When we talk about alchemy, we talk about Little Scrappy at the end. I think it's Little Scrappy. Yeah, he says,
Mm-hmm.
if the grapes don't sell, I'll dry them up and sell raisins. It's not a full
Mm.
poem, but it's a quote. Okay, because it talks about the resilience and the endurance of a hustler, or even just a person in
Yeah.
general trying to achieve their dreams. They're like, okay, this didn't work, and obviously you got to think about the time frame. How long does it take for it to become a raisin? That means this entire time you've been trying to sell grapes, and they dried up. So you've been doing this for a minute.
Been out in the streets. You know, the 7 days, same clothes type of deal that you hear a lot of East Coast hip
Yeah,
hop, East Coast MCs talk about for sure.
that's beautiful, right? So he was like, well, if the grapes don't sell, he said, I'll dry them up and sell raisins. That to me is a form of patience, because he said, I'm gonna have to take my grapes from out there off the cart, put them in the sun and wait, and then I'm gonna sell the raisins. So, and then you're also not giving up on your project. There's a lot of us artists out here that get into a project and we hit a plateau because we're not seeing it from the other side, and
Mm-hmm.
we stop and we're like, but then we pick it back up and we're like, okay, wait a minute, let's see what I can do to make it. It's same with you and probably your music and the way you do your podcast. At some point, there had to be a time we had to take an episode and y'all had to figure out how to repiece it together to make it work. Maybe
Oh
not,
yeah.
but in the future. And
All right.
that's a
Look.
form of output.
Yeah. Look.
You could have
That's.
easily scrapped it, started over, whatever, but you took what you already had because it's still very valuable and you made something of it. And I love, that's one of my favorite lines. But at the same time, in the same song, okay, we talk about shadow work. T.I. said, I'm an emperor. You best
Mm-hmm.
be clever working on my temper, but the way he did it, that's where the lyricist part comes in. So he said, that's why I love it so much. He said, I'm a or I'm an emperor. You best be glad I'm working on my temper, or otherwise,
Mm.
have you heard it before?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard it, but like, it's been a minute since I played it. So like listening, like hearing you like speak this breakdown, and like the wheels are going in my mind right now. So like I gotta run a lot of these songs back immediately.
Yes,
Um,
please,
and
please do.
and I'm gonna also say that we've got to have another show like where we just deconstruct a song, and like we got
Yes,
to do it.
I have to start a whole new podcast. I'm sorry, because we're gonna have to do every song ever
Yeah,
written in hip
it,
hop.
that's what I'm saying. Like we could just deconstruct, like just take the whole episode and do a song like front to back, and just do like, I don't know, call it the academics or whatever, because there's a guy with that in his name, and he's not an academic, but
Mm,
I'm not gonna speak ill of other people.
I
We
got
can,
you.
um, but like, yeah, the whole reason why I wanted to have this show is to have an academic look at hip hop, like talk about hip hop like you would, in like a cultural anthropology class or something like that, like, or a high level English class. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
so that, yeah, I'm taking notes. This is not going to be the last time you're going to be on the show. Damn it, because this is my show and I do what the fuck I want.
Okay, I just wish I could find it because, but there's the lyrics don't exist.
Oh yeah, I can
But
find them. I'll do some googling
okay,
too. I got
all right.
some.
So it's not the version. It's not the version. It's the It's not the one. So he comes in. He says, everybody wants to be the king of the South. But then right after he does his verse, it's another deep voiced man. Okay, but he says in there, his lines are like, "I'm the ruler of myself." He goes, solid gold bullets. I'll kill you with finesse. This is not a test. Doesn't ease at your request. You was talking that shit. So, what do you suggest? A bullet in your ass or a chopper in your chest?
Mm.
I'm down walls, putting cities on my belt. The realest thing that I ever felt. I walked inside the place and niggas melt. I'm a king. So I'm listening to the song because it's two things at one time.
Oh yeah.
And who
So
is that? And why
I
can't I
found the
find the
lyrics.
lyrics?
I found the
You
lyrics.
did.
Yes. It's
Link me. You the only one. That's crazy.
it's C Rod. It's C Rod from the Pimp Squad clip.
Why doesn't it come up? Like, that's awesome.
So one of the things that I've had to do,
Mm-hmm.
because you got like all of these other little weird lyrics pages that don't show everything, and one like Rap Genius or Genius.com doesn't show all of them, because a lot of times they just focus on the main songs, which is cool, but there are some other ones. So like sometimes like I typed in a bar, like as you were saying it,
Mm-hmm.
like I was typing it in. I got my computer here, and I was like, all right, let me see if I can find it, and then boom, it showed up. So yeah, that was C Rod from
Mm-hmm.
from the Pimp Squad click. So the Pimp Squad click, that was that was the group that Ti had, like his crew, right? And
Mm-hmm.
just like Nelly had the Saint Lunatics, you know what I'm saying? Ti had Pimp Squad click, and that was Big Country Kane, that was C Rod, and they had one album, PSC, and it's still one of my favorite albums to this day, because just of how they opened it. Like the song was just so hard. Let me see. Now I gotta look up lyrics.
Yes. Okay. I wanna because I didn't know that part about I knew there was a group, but I always thought they were just guys rapping together at the time. Um, but I do want you to read all of that or rap it. Some.
Yeah, because they got their album was called 25 to Life.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
the one. That's a good album. Actually,
yeah, yeah, and now I mean that album, like I'm gonna run that back, because that was like a main staple, like when I was in college. Because I mean, yeah, I played a lot of stuff that was on the radio when I was on the radio, but this was one of the ones that you would like hear in the house, and people were like, man, what the fuck is that? I'm like, look, this is that PSC, man. This is the other shit, and I mean, kind of talking talking to Hook for like the main song, so I had to bring this up just because of the interesting way that they put the word. So like everything was word. So it's like I'm talking cocaine heaven, cocaine Chevy, a badass brick cooking bitch named Betty. Talking dope game ready, pop game ready, block game ready, Glock game ready. Now this is a regular, like some of your, you would hear like, those kind of repetitive rhymes and a lot of like crunk music and stuff like that because it's all like going to the beat. But I mean, even the breakdown, kind of the double entendre of, he says badass brick cooking bitch named Betty. It could
These
be
are
like a
literary works.
Betty Crocker metaphor. You know what I'm saying?
Well, these are literary works, and I think that's
Yeah.
what people aren't understanding: the fine art in rap.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because if we were, because again, okay, so we could do this thing where on the next episode we talk about the types of poetry, and I'm telling you, you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It'll all. But will you read that lyric for me? That's my favorite. The one by what'd you say? What's his name?
C-Rod.
Yeah, C-Rod. Okay, because I was like, who's this guy? Why can't I find the lyric? Did he die? Were they trying to keep it sacred? Like,
Oh yeah. I'm a grand hot shelf, the last player left, make a woman heart melt. I'm the ruler of myself. Fresh when I walk, you got manure in your steps. The less a nigga talk, the more boss is impressed. It's a mess when you flex, niggas take away your breath, leave you stretched on the west, take your head off your neck. Shit, I feel like Shine Poe. I roll more or less, more or less. 45 in my sweats, I ride for the set. You ain't live as a tech. Assault rifle lover boy, treat them like pets. Solid gold bullets, I'll kill you with finesse. This is not a test, does it easily your request? With you popping all that shit, now what do you suggest? Pull it in your ass or a chop in your chest? Knocking down walls, putting cities on my belt. The realest thing that I ever felt. Stepped aside the place and the niggas knelt. Man, this is
so good.
insane. I forgot about this verse. Like, I mean, everything about
Exactly.
this is insane.
Yes. Every single piece of that song right there is a poem in itself. I mean, if you, I'm telling you, but, yeah, so the shadow work in the bottom where he says, better be glad I'm working on my temper, otherwise, I think that's very deep because you have to acknowledge it in order to be able to talk about it. And he's like, and he's still keeping it real because the thing about spirituality and blah, blah, blah is like they're saying you can't carry a pistol and incense at the same time when you can. You know what I'm saying? At some point. But there's one song I want you to listen to because this song makes me think of you in the sense of just like the when you say hip hop, when I think of DJ Smithsonian and like this to me is the theme of our friendship and it's called Chillaxation by Bob Alloy. But when I know it's not you, but I think of you rapping this when I'm listening to the song, I'm like, that's my dog. That's my dog.
Oh, so, now I gotta play it. Look, now I gotta look this up. I'm gonna.
So the reason why I love this is because the levels of instruments, the levels of it's rap, it's also underground, and it's hip hop, but it's also R&B.
So I got it queued up. So I'll tell you right now, after we get done with this episode, I'm playing this thing.
Okay, yeah, and let me know what you think.
Cause I gotta know. I gotta know. I gotta know. So, all right. So you didn't gave me 3 out of 5.
Okay.
You didn't give me 3 out of 5. So, how about we build this top 5? What you think?
Let's go.
All right. So, if you are just now tuning in, this is a very new thing that I'm doing. It's called the top 5, but it's a different kind of top 5 because a lot of times folks will just spend top 5 talking about their top 5 MCs, or they'll do their, top 5 producers. There's a list right now. I think Billboard produced it with their top 100 beats of all time. a list that I strongly disagree with, and
Ooh.
I'm I'm getting my list together because I want to attack their list. But we're gonna do this a couple different ways. So one, we're gonna talk about the subject matter at hand. So like this intersection of hip hop and poetry. So we'll think about hip hop lyrics that sound like poetry. Verses that would be better off as spoken word. Like if you just took the beat, like what song stands on itself. And then also if we know of any songs where they actually feature a spoken word artist. So that's going to be our top 5, right? This intersection of hip hop and poetry. And how we do it is there's a coin flip. So I got a virtual coin flip on my computer because I don't have my actual coin in my pocket. And I'm going to have the guest call it. So Poet, I'm going to have you call it. And then if you win the toss, you add the first song to the list. And then I'll add the next song. And then I have the ability to change the order.
All right.
So, and then we'll go back and forth. So like when next time you add a song, you can change the order. And then, so since the person that wins the toss gets to add 3 songs instead of 2, the person who loses the toss gets to set the final order of the top 5.
Okay.
So you can run an audible and say, hey, I want to switch them all out at the end of the day. And call it that. So I got my Google coin flip.
That's funny as hell. Use the internet while it's free.
So you want heads or tails?
I'll take tails.
All right, we're flipping it. It is heads.
Okay.
So I got it. I'm gonna do the first song on the list. First song that I'm gonna put on this top 5. I'm gonna say, let's see, I got looking at my computer for my list. I'm gonna go with Spody Odie Dopalicious by Outkast. Damn, James. Cause it was like it was on beat, but it wasn't on beat. And that was kind of the first song that I remember hearing where like it felt like a piece where, like somebody was just like spitting game to me, and not like rapping to me. So I'm going to add that on the list.
Yeah, Outkast used to give me very funky, groovy rap, very spunky, retro rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that was cool. So you said this is okay. Well, for me, this song is a song that I feel like you can talk the whole way through, which would be "Motivation" by T.I.
Okay, I like it. So do you want to put it number 1? Do you want to bump Outkast down?
No. No. That can stay there for now.
All right. So T.I. Motivation. So we can put that number 2. And see, so now it's my turn. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Mostly because I actually got a funny story about this one. I'm gonna do Ice Cube's Today Was a Good Day.
Oh.
I'm gonna do Ice Cube's Today Was a Good Day. I'm gonna place that at number 3.
Let's see.
And here's why. So, and you know this, but the listeners may or may not know this. I'm a veteran. You ain't got to thank me or nothing. It's my job. It's fine. so like I don't want to see any comments with like, people saluting in the gifts or nothing like that. Like it's just a job. But like I remember being in basic training, and the drill sergeants Like they try to find ways to make the experience entertaining, even if it's just for themselves, but sometimes everybody gets to play along.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got us doing push-ups and they're talking to each other, but they're having a conversation using "Today Was a Good Day" lyrics.
Mm.
And just like the cadence in which they did it, it was amazing. It was amazing and hilarious at the same time. So I'm gonna do "Good Day." I'm gonna do "Good Day."
Okay. So we talked about storytelling
Mm-hmm.
and conversation. That put me to "I Got Five on It," featuring um Michael. I'm sorry. Make sure you put that part in there. What I said about my knowledge on hip hop.
Hey, it's all
But
good.
I love. I'm sorry about that. I love songs like that where they're telling it like, I got up today and put on my sneakers, do 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 do, and we just with them all day because I love a visual. I love a good visual. You get what I'm saying?
And the
So yeah.
cadence, just the cadence of
Mm-hmm.
"I've Got Five on It" is amazing. Like, and we don't, unfortunately, we don't get that a lot in the hip hop that is broadcasted on the major airwaves, like we used to. Because I mean, when I think about the Loonies, when I think about Bone, when I think about Twista, um, Speed Not Mopses, Do or Die. When I think on the East Coast, about Das Effects, um, like there were all of these different cadences in
Mm-hmm.
hip hop. Snoop's cadence is probably like top tier, like just god level when he is in the pocket,
Mm-hmm.
And now, unfortunately, I believe that although all hip hop artists have a place to participate in the culture, there are people outside of the culture who make profit off of the culture that showcase a very small part of it. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Not
never,
always a good part.
yeah, I'll never say that hip hop is dead. I'll never say that the new school is doing the wrong thing. But I will say that, like we just need to do a better job at like looking for the options outside of what we just hear on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and you talked about this earlier. We were, there is, it's okay to listen to music with a certain type of content. However, when that is the only thing that you're putting in your mind, in your
Mm-hmm.
body, that becomes an issue. And like, I don't know, I think about like 20, 25 years ago, um, when we had, in my last, my last one, because I've got like two that I'm thinking about, but both of these were on the air around that time, and I mean they were, you had these songs, but also coupled with crunk music, club music. You had Black
Mm-hmm.
Power music. You had struggle music. Like all of these things had their own space, and you just also had people that were just being playful. Just
Mm-hmm.
MCs being silly for the sake of being silly. Like I don't think we have that anymore.
Yeah.
Like people are too serious. So I got 5 on it. Where are we putting it on the list?
I'm gonna put it for one.
You're gonna put it.
That's me.
You're gonna put it
That's
number
what
one.
we gotta wake and bake. That's gonna be the first song
All
of the
right.
day. Also, when you're talking about hip hop is not dead. Hip hop has been beaten. Hip hop is different. Hip hop is traumatized. Hip hop has been weaponized because you got to remember hip hop used to
Mm-hmm.
be originally our expression, and then they took hip hop, they twisted it, like you said, put it back in the streets, and it became a weapon. And down
Mm-hmm.
with hip hop. Hip hop is lost. Okay, hip hop is doing shadow work. Hip hop is in the dark place. I think that's where I think it is at this time. And I think true hip hop is still underground, just like
Oh
how
yeah.
they talk about very rare aliens and animals and things like that. I think the heart of hip hop is in hiding. All right, what we're seeing is just a shell of it's. like a form of subconscious, the way we protect ourselves. I think
Mhm.
that's what we're hip hop's giving enough, but not itself.
Yeah, I can dig that. And I think and
Doing the
that's why
persona.
like I just make a determined effort to go look outside of what's what's being provided to me, you know?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
what's being given to me. So like, yeah, you can go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger, you can get a Big Mac. These are all of the options, but there's like a homemade burger joint around the corner with like
Mhm.
some 60-year-old like husband and wife combo. It's got like the best burgers this side of the Mississippi.
Yep.
But since it's off the beaten path, since it's you don't pick it up when you Google, like go on Google Maps and find nearest burger joints, like you don't know it exists. And
Yep.
that's what I feel about
Ooh.
like hip hop now. And I'm gonna take my
Mm.
my last song, and I'm gonna put it at number 3.
Mhm.
So that would put T.I. at 4, Ice Cube at 5,
Dang.
um, Commons, The Corner.
Oh, okay.
Because there's another, like, just the
Mm.
cadence of that song of Commons verse, and it goes back to hip hop and how hip
Damn.
hop originate. Like we're talking about our surroundings, we're talking about what's going on, and we're talking about what's happening at these street corners. The ills and evils. It brings back like the MC as the observer, and
Mhm.
it also like there's no hook. I mean, there's like this bridge from Kanye, like I wish I could give you this feeling. I wish I could
Ah,
give you this feeling, but
rest in peace. Yeah.
man, look, we need to, man, I'm
I'm
telling
sorry.
you, every episode. So I was just talking to my boy about this because I got an episode with my boy Bosco the Saint, and we were talking about like Rockefeller hip hop beats with like strong vocal samples, right? And of course,
Mhm.
like old Kanye hits the top 5. And it's like, damn, like, do you remember this?
Mhm.
Like, do you remember when he like gave a fuck about hip hop and about the people? You remember this?
See, and I don't think Kanye. I'm not going to turn your podcast into this, but what I will say is this: the real Kanye never forgot about hip hop. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, it
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah, and yeah, I was gonna say the only thing I was gonna close with is so the corner also also features the last poets. Um,
Mhm.
the
Yep.
last poets who are like the OGs hip hop before hip hop. So I thought that would be a good place to bring the conversation full circle.
Yeah,
And
that
yeah,
was good. He
so
plays on a lot of. He does a lot of wordplay with words that sound alike, and like a
mhm,
lot of all the words that start with R's and F's, and it's really dope.
yeah, so since I won the toss,
Yeah.
you get to set the final order. So do you want to move any
Mm.
songs above or below to lock it in?
Mm.
So
So I know we're ranking it, but I don't want to rank it. It's not okay. So it's ranked in the order of like a energy shift in a good way. So we can start with. I'm so torn. I want to do 5 on it. Outcasts,
okay,
motivation, good day, the corner.
okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like a little slow, like a journey.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm gonna have to go listen to it in that order.
Look, I might do the same thing. I might do the same thing. Just like, hey, here's how I'm gonna run them. Here's how we gonna put it together.
Hmm.
Um,
And I
and
think what we should do, because what I'm doing right now is my poetry. The album is an album, but I'm posting it in video. So once it's all done, if you want, you can listen to it all as one long poem. But they change, just like how people do one long album, but the beat never cuts, right?
Okay.
And I think what you should do, if you want, is build on this series, because this what you're doing right now is you're forming a masterpiece, and you're in this idea. I don't think you understand. I don't know if you do, anyways, respectfully. But you're already trying to break down rap into the levels of poetry that they are. We're just trying to find out where they fit. You got acrostic poetry, and you have like storytelling poetry, you got haiku poetry. But then what you should do is, like you said, do your top five. But now your challenge is not only we doing the top five, we're doing the top five in the order of energy shifting. So you have to do it in the order of the
Mm-hmm.
day. So like we're starting off with five on to get high, and then next thing we jigging, we grooving. Now we
Okay.
having a deep intellectual conversation, the corner, right? And then now we done got hype and we motivated. Now imagine someone standing up in your living room like, man, you can look me in my eye, see I'm ready for what. And then it calms down with, or what I mean, what is it? A good day in whichever order, but you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, no, I could dig
Mhm.
that. I could dig that. Maybe we do maybe this turns into, like, as we do more of these conversations and have more of these top fives, just like little mini top five playlists or something like that. Like we already do over a shameless plug for Appraise the Playlist. So
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
so our parent network, Appraise the Phrase podcast, they weigh and rank commonly used phrases. They talk about the history and etymology. And what I am doing is I am finding songs that have those phrases in the actual lyrics. We
Mhm.
have a Spotify playlist. It is up. It's stuck. It's there for season 3, and I'm building one for seasons 1 and 2. Just had to do the plug. Had to do the commercial, because if we don't promote our own shit, no one will.
That's that's true.
But
That's true.
I appreciate you. Look, we're gonna go ahead and say the top 5 again. I got 5 on it by the Loonies, then Outkast, Spodio Pido Delicious, then T.I. Motivation, Ice Cube's Good Day, and closing it out with Commons The Corner with a bonus track, Chillaxation by Bob Alloy. We're gonna go ahead and make that an honorable mention.
Mhm.
Since you brought it up, but we're gonna wrap up the show. Poet, let me tell you, it's been a pleasure, and I am so
Hell yeah.
thankful that I'm able to share my art with you. You are a great friend. You are a great person, great human being, and one of these days, we gonna kick it. Miss Smithsonian gonna roll with me. Maybe we take a drive east to
Pull up
Georgia or
on
something like
me.
that. Huh?
Pull up on. I said pull up on me for real. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
But yes, I love you a lot. You are one of my bestest friends. Because I don't believe in distance and things like that. I had a great time, and next time I come on, I'll throw my wig on.
All right.
You know, we'll
All right.
talk about it.
Hey,
So thank you so much. This is awesome. You got me. See, now I also want to say thank you for the inspiration, because I'm looking at hip hop totally different
all right.
in just this like hour. So now it's like I wow, like it's different. Like I'm really excited, and I always get excited when it comes to stepping into new plateaus of art and things like that. So anybody feel free to send me links to songs you like, and I would love to listen to it and just kind of like dissect the song out. You know what I mean? So thank you.
All right. Appreciate you. Love you. And be safe. Enjoy your weekend. Stay cool. It's hot as fuck outside.
Will do. You too.
All right. Peace.
Man, my topic of talking goes to keep it hooked like dope. Let the ship so hard in these censorship. Damn, God.